Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. that Central Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Been doing this for 20 years, and I want another 20 years of it. I'm not sure 80-year-old will be the host show, but anyway, as soon as we can, we're going to get some more information out there to you. I wanted to mention this too. You can find us syndicated on television, channel 182 Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com, where truth matters there as well. You can still find us on all the social media sites. Find me on facebook.com/DFeazell, and you can watch the show anytime you want to. Now, I wanted to mention this to you, all you South Carolinians. You want to share this show today, okay? We have a candidate with us. He's running for U.S. Senate. His name is Mark Lynch. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much for what you do, and keep going. We need another 20 years because truth is everything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Even if it hurts, ouch, we got to speak the truth. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show today. So tell us a little bit about your background for folks who may not know you and why you're running.
All right. Well, I've been born and raised in Greenville, South Carolina. My family now lives in Woodruff, just 15 minutes from here, where we have some land to get away from all the city and noise and everything. But born and raised, got saved at 11 years old. Went off to the University of South Carolina, majored in advertising and public relations, and came back from college not knowing what I wanted to do yet. But my father started an appliance TV business back in 1951, and I had interest in it and worked for my dad off and on all my life. And finally, in 1983, I'd been out of school a couple of years. He said, what are your plans? You know, I've been waiting for you because you seem interested. And so we formed a buy-sell agreement, and I started buying the business. And in 1985, my dad released the reins of the business to me, and he semi-retired and just worked a couple of days a week, giving my other salesperson and I a day off. And later retired completely. And since 1985, our business has grown 35 times, from 5 employees to 110. Mm-hmm. We are debt-free since 1999, personally and corporately. So that's nice. If we have a little storm out here in the world or a recession or something, we can weather it really well. Back in 06, 08, when everything stopped and the country had a big major depression, $500 billion was gone out of the stock market and bailouts began. We didn't have to let one employee go. All during COVID, we worked, you know, because our people want to come to work. They believe in the Lord, and we have chapel twice a week here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We had it this morning for our employees with paid pastors on staff. So we run a great organization here at our business at Jeff Lynch Appliance Center in Greenville. We've always battled the big giants in the country like Lowe's and Home Depot, and some of the ones that aren't here anymore are names we all remember, like Circuit City and H.H. Gregg and Sears and Roebuck and Montgomery Wards and Lechmere and on and on and on. And we're still here in our 73rd year. My son and daughter, I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. My wife, I've been married to Sarah for 37 years. She's awesome. She's a big reason for everything. They're the 3rd generation. My kids, they're taking the business over, doing great. They've been working here all like I did during high school and college and on breaks from college. And they're doing a great job, which affords me the opportunity to go run for U.S. Senate. Why am I doing this? With the knowledge that I have of a lot of different areas in our country and my passion and my love of Christ, I can't not get in this race, knowing what I know. It all kind of began back in 2014 when I met a gentleman that works in the highest level of national security for our country, and he works alongside of Phil Haney back in the day when he was the head of Homeland Security after 9/11. And these guys are all in, like General Mike Flynn and people like that are receiving persecution at the highest level because they are exposing the truth at all costs, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a personal friend of Mike Flynn's and have worked with him in rooms talking about the country's problems and things with Trump and what all happened since 2020 when the elections were stolen. And Mike Pence had the authority and, more importantly, the oath that he didn't honor on the 20th of January back in 2021 when he let the thieves keep our country. Because that election, in my opinion, and I think we have enough facts now, so many, it's just ridiculous, our elections were stolen. Yeah. So knowing everything like that and seeing what happened before 2020, I was asked when we did security presentations to churches, we would get 500, 700, 800, 1,000 people to come hear about all of the terrorist infiltration into Congress and communist infiltration into Homeland Security in our schools and everything, our seminaries in Dallas, Texas, all the stuff that's going on in the country. We basically have been taken over and our enemies never fired a shot. So knowing that and knowing the root causes of some of this stuff that produces things like, your prayers offend me. We need to pass a hate crimes bill. Mm-hmm. We need red flag laws so we can have your guns taken from you. We know the root causes of where this is really coming from. And they're playing on our Christianese. Some of us that have milquetoast faith, they know where to play in those areas to take things from us and rewrite our education and corrupt our children's minds and control us at every level. So when I presented back then, I was asked would I run. I ran for a state Senate race. I almost won. I lost by 5%. We had proved my election was stolen at certain precincts when we had votes, counts of voters, at 10:30 where the computer showed 250 voters have come through today and voted. And at 7 o'clock that night at the end of the day, the total was 175 instead
that
of like.
That was an ambush.
Right. That's right. And I lost by 832 votes out of, like 17,000 voters that day. Mm-hmm. So since then, I've been asked for the last 4 years, when you running again, and there wasn't a position really to run for. And then my wife kind of started this conversation, and other strong people said, you need to run against Lindsey Graham. That's your race. You're a United States Senator. You're a viable candidate. And we prayed, and God gave us the go ahead, and we decided to do it back in February. And I want everybody to know, and we've published this information, I'm debt free. God's blessed me. And to show Trump and the pollsters and everybody out there that considers my viability, I put my money where my mouth is. I put $5 million of my own retirement fund into this campaign, all at risk. We could lose it all. I believe we're going to win, or I wouldn't have done it. And we're getting nothing but positive momentum everywhere we go. Because I'm like you, Donna. I just tell it like it is. And it might offend somebody, but being offended is, that person's option. And so we do that in business. We have a good reputation in business. I have to meet with the heads of Whirlpool Corporation or Tempur-Pedic or whatever we're doing. And we're just one store, but we're one big store today. Like I say, doing 35 times more business debt-free than we did in 1985 when my dad said, it's your turn, take this and do what you want to. And when I started working, we were working out of a 3,200 square foot showroom. Our building today we work out of is 132,000 square feet on like 20 acres. So big, big difference, right? But it's God's the owner. I get that. That's why we have chapel here. This is a God first campaign. That's what makes America great again. I love Trump as long as he stays who he is, and I think he will. He's a smart businessman, and that's what I am. And I think Trump would love to have a U.S. senator like me from South Carolina that he doesn't have to babysit.
I think that's a great idea. And I just wanted to bring this up, okay, because we've all seen the positive influence with a businessman as president of the United States. I wanted to mention this to you as well. Okay, so my family, they're kind of divided. Okay, they're Republicans and Democrats. My mother, a huge Republican. My dad, a huge Democrat. However, had he passed away a few years ago. Had he been alive during the past two presidential elections, he would have voted Trump. And almost everybody says, you know, somebody in my family reminds me of Trump. Well, Trump reminds me actually of my dad because he was quick spoken. He was a businessman and he said it like it was. And so that's what Trump does. And that's what we're all craving for. Back in the day when Daddy Bush ran for president and Bill Clinton ran, I didn't vote for either one. I voted for the businessman. I voted for Ross Perot.
I did too.
It was a terrible thing, you know, because as far as my family was concerned, but I had to vote my conscience. And to me, Perot was that person ahead of President Trump as he came in. Trump never appeared rude to me at all. He just said it like it was. And someone like you, Mark, who's going to say it like it is, you've got the business background. That's what we're all craving for.
Yes.
I'm talking from mayor all the way up as we're working for folks. So
people are tired of all the games. I've never ever had a political aspiration. When people asked me to run in 2019 for a state Senate position, I said, you need to go get a drug test. I don't know anything about politics. I think for me, politics just means legalized lying. You know, when I lost, we formed a political activist group called the United Patriots Alliance. I've had to resign from it now because I can't have that and run for office. But we were very effective in getting bad actors out, getting the right people in, educating the public, producing complete scorecards for the year. Because we have a lot of people, like in our business here, our appliance furniture business in Greenville, they move here from some of these woke areas. They're so glad they're in a red state. And I'm like, I hate to disappoint you, but let me show you the voting records of these guys. And some of them don't know who their House rep is or state senator or whatever, or congressman. They might know the governor, but we'll show them their voting records and they're just shocked because they're voting like a Democrat would. And a good friend of mine the other day, I asked for his endorsement and his help in my campaign. And I said, I hope Republicans can be Republicans again. And I'm tired of the word rhino, Republican in name only. I think the word is traitor. We need to get real because I had to read and swear to the oath when I ran for state Senate. And as a United States legal citizen in this country, being born here, or if we came across the river in San Antonio and we were vetted and we were allowed to go through the immigration processes that we've always had at this great country, it's a great opportunity for everybody. And we are accepted to be safely brought into this country. And we say the pledge and we learn English and we know this is a God-fearing country. We're all sworn to the same oath, really, to defend against foreign or domestic enemies. And we've got people that are taking checks and selling out, like in God's word, he tells us the love of money is the root of all evil. There's not another verse that talks that way that I've seen, but boy, that verse has stood out in my mind more than ever these last 5 or 6 years or longer. With all the corruption we're seeing everywhere. And I had friends of mine ask me when I first ran, do you know what you're really getting into? I thought I did. But boy, we've seen it all. And so I can't meet my maker one day and him ask me when Jesus himself asked me, why didn't you run? We needed a guy like you down there doing it. But anyway, welcome home to your eternal home. But you know, you wasted some time there at the end of your life. You could have made a difference. So that's why I'm running, because I know I can make a difference. I'll hold the line. I don't need any money. I have an accountability group in my company. I have given authority to my top executive management team here that's been with me 20 and 30 years. And this was years ago, Donna. if I lose my mind and start doing something that's wrong, that's hurting the company, you got to come in my office and kick the door open and hit me with a 2x4 and pour ice water on me and say, "What are you doing?" Right? So we're set up more like God wants a church set up with elders and deacons. And so I understand what that is. I'm a deacon at our church, and we get to go into the pastor's office and tell him anything we need to tell him to protect headquarters company.
Absolutely.
And so I invite accountability. I love that Silks endorsed me because I need her to call me and ask me, "What are you doing?" if she sees me making mistakes.
And she will. I promise you, she will do that. We're going to have to go into a commercial break. We went just a little past, but that's okay. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring. But the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. For Truth Matters, that's why we've got Mark Lynch with us right now. You talked about working for your dad, Mark, and I worked for my dad for a while. That was the toughest job I ever had. I'm just telling you. And he was harder on me than he was on anybody else. So did you have that kind of reaction too with your dad?
Well, when I came out of college, my dad was a 82nd Airborne greatest generation guy, awesome.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And but he was tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he needed to be. he didn't let stuff slide or whatever. But one time we had a passionate argument because I thought my way was better than his.
Oh.
And he finally said, Mark, let me tell you something. He grabbed me, and he's a big guy. I'm shorter from my mother's side of the family, but my father grabbed me and dragged me out to the front of the building. He says, you see that sign out there? It still says Jeff Lynch. And when you get that through your head, we're going to get along great. Otherwise, you need to go on, because he said, I want all your smart advice and all your wisdom you have at 26 years old and everything, but I'm the boss and you're not. And I thought about it when I worked at other jobs, washing dishes or bussing tables or whatever as a kid. Whatever the boss said, I said, yes, sir. And I went and did it, you know. And he said, so between 9 and 6, I'm the boss. And before 9 or after 6, I'm your dad again. But I want your ideas, but after I hear them, and if I like them, great. If I don't, that's how it is. And if you can get along with that, we're going to do great. And we did great ever since.
Well, I got to say that story sounds very familiar. I heard that one too. Yeah, I thought I knew more too, but I didn't. Let's talk a little bit about, because people are really, really concerned. And I'm living in Abbeville, South Carolina, so we're kind of neighbors. We're not that far from each other. And what I hear about, first of all, you know, how things were run the past 4 years with Joe Biden, as he was our president, and then comparison to the way things are running right now. But illegal immigrants. And before we say anything, my daughter-in-law is from Russia. She was brought here when she was 11 years old. My son married into the best family ever. They're much better folks than we are. I mean, they are wonderful folks. And so she was brought here with 2 of her sisters. No one is more upset about illegal immigration than my daughter-in-law from Russia is. What's your take on that?
Well, it's funny you say that. My son's wife, my daughter-in-law, is from Kazakhstan. She's awesome, Ksenia. Her family came here. She was here like just as 2 or 3 month infant. So she's never known anything but the United States. But her mom and everybody, and like any legal immigrant that went through the right processes, how do you think they feel when they're just letting people come in, and a guy like Lindsey Graham that I'm running against wants to give everybody amnesty? You know, he sent out I've got here a card he sent out where he talked about how he's so proud that he's leading the passage of the Lake and Riley Act, right? And I've made this public, and I implore him, I'll pay for our plane tickets. We'll fly to the Riley home, because I want them to tell that to their face when they come to the door. He's never been for closing the borders. He's for granting amnesty to everybody. That's his nickname, Gramnesty. And we have terrorists walking into this country, going to their locations there to report to. There's a few people in the lines that need this opportunity, and we've always had immigration laws. We don't need to write any new ones. We just need to enforce them. In my campaign, or if I'm in the U.S. Senate in D.C., I'm about enforcing the laws like Tom Homan and them are doing now. Thank you for real people that will go do their job. And we're waiting for Pam Bondi and Kash Patel to do their job. How long are we going to talk about having a list at Epstein Island? But it's time to do something with that list, right? That's a business guy's approach. Let's fix it. Let's get it handled. Let's call this customer back. Let's make it right. Let's get our freight here, whatever we got to do. We don't just sit around and talk, or we would go out of business. So yes, I'm for closing the border 100%. One of my daily meditation books I read years ago, I'm like, isn't this awesome? Because God's always on time. I'm studying about my personal life in the meditation book and the Bible verses where God says, if we don't have boundaries in our life, we're like nations without borders. They're open for devastation and ruin. And so we all have boundaries in our personal life, right? We try to wash our hands before we eat, or we don't try to jump off, 10-story buildings and defy gravity. There's certain things we know not to do because it's going to be a bad consequence. So we need to actually enforce those immigration laws. because they're not illegal immigrants. They're illegal aliens inside our country that we've got to get out, deport them. There's enemies inside of our country and inside of our Congress, and there's traitors. Today you have three groups. There's patriots like you and I. There's traitors like Lindsey Graham and people like that, and Joe Biden. There's enemies that are in office, and we know who probably they are. And so I'm working to remove one and then try to get to the rest of them. And I'll be about laws 100% that are going to match God's laws first, that are protected by the Constitution. We have unalienable rights. That means God's already given them to us. I don't need any more conversation about a Second Amendment ever. And it shall not be infringed means that. And, you know, when I was a kid growing up, if you did something stupid or you ask a stupid question of your parent or a law officer, they said, boy, aren't you funny? Get out of here and go do what I told you. You know, not to even ask a question like that. So we're not going to talk about, you know, more taxes and stuff like that on gun suppressors and things, or getting a open carry permit. We've had it since we came here, since God created us. And the Constitution, the only authority I have as your U.S. Senator is to honor what God has already given us and protect it for you. That's all. These are stupid conversations and a waste of taxpayers' money to work on things that we've already had, right?
Right.
One guy asked me, what's the bills you're going to work on? I said, the first thing I want to do is rake all the trash bills off the Constitution. And somewhere under that big pile of bills is a little pocket-sized Constitution that we're going to go back to and just work on that. We're going to get back to that. But I'm America first. I'm going to definitely do everything I can to end the mutilation of transgender surgery. Lindsey, he confirmed the Judge Herson that Biden wanted. Two other U.S. Republican senators and the whole Democrat Party voted for him, and he's the guy that's fighting Trump now on the executive order to stop that. So it's just basic common sense, biblical perspective I will bring to this office position. I don't know every question or every law we need to work on, but I know the book that I'm going to use in God's Word and the Constitution to make my decisions from. That you can count on. That's my oath.
We don't have to call it a day. Can you believe 30 minutes has just flown by? How can folks contribute to your campaign?
Yes. So they can go to lynchforsenate.com, LYNCHFOR, Senate.com, and we have a donation tab there you can go to. It does take money. You know, last time Lindsey had hundreds of millions of dollars, so we're going to need donations from all over the country. You can give up to $3,500 per person, I believe. And so we'll take whatever you have, though. Pray about that and see how you can help. How can you help this campaign if you believe I'm the guy? First, you need to believe I'm the guy. And if not, find out who I am. Call me. Call Silk. Call Donna and find out who we are. Set up a meet and greet in your county in South Carolina and help us come. We will come. We're going all over the state in the victory tour that we're doing to take this position back so that you can have the right person speaking for you in Congress and D.C. as your U.S. Senator.
Absolutely. Mark, we're going to have to go. Thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you guys so much for watching. 20 years of it. Let's do another 20 years. Continue to emails, Donna@donnasedge.com. Makes my day, Donna@donnasedge.com. It's good to see you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.